Bigger question is, where do you go to? Whom do you listen to now that you're no longer listening to the group mentality? And sometimes we tend to go back to ourselves. We become lost in that prideful thinking that we are better off than so and so. I'm out of that group now. I am free. I can do whatever I want in life. And we know that there are so many people today who don't even take a moment to listen to themselves, even as they're speaking. I don't know whether you have met those kind of people who will speak for hours and hours talking about themselves, not giving you a chance even to respond to their talk. These are some of the people who are lost in themselves. They attempt to break out of the group to find this authentic voice, but when they start finding that authentic voice, they become prideful. They say, you know what the heck, I don't need you. I'm better than you. I do things, it is none like any other, like me in our midst. But when we look at Nicodemus, he did at last break out of the group mentality. He had a choice. He had a choice to go to the power that be, the military might, because he was a man of might, we are told. He could have gone to the intellectuals of his day. He could have gone to the wealthy, who sometimes are very powerful. And we know that. Those who are living in the United States know that one of the reasons sometimes we elect certain leaders is because of the might and wealth that they bring into the equation. And some will wield that wealth for the sake of power. So Nicodemus would have literally sought to break out of the box and go to the powerful. But instead, he decides that I need to go somewhere else. I have heard somebody else speak. I have seen him do some signs or reveal certain signs. And I think there is something in him. Where do you go when you break out? You don't go to yourself. You will have to begin to learn to surround yourself with people who can empower that authentic voice in you. Somebody who can call you out. Somebody who can tell you, you know what? The kind of life you're living is fake. But when I listen to you, I see the authentic you. And by the end of this broadcast, I'm going to give you an example of myself and how I was challenged by somebody who thought that I was too much of a fake and I needed to break out of the box, outside of the box. So Nicodemus, there are several things that we learn from Nicodemus. First of all, he discovered very quickly that group mentality robs you your dignity as a human being. It denies you the freedom to think, the freedom to act from the point of knowledge, but rather it kind of boxes you into this group mentality. And he knew that he needed to go to a place where the authentic self would be empowered. And you know what? He had a tradition already that they had learned through the great one of all, and that is Moses. Moses, they never called Moses a prophet. They never called Moses sometimes we say that he is a lawgiver. But among the Jews, he was the greatest teachers. He was the greatest teacher of all time. And they had developed within the Jewish community a class of people who believed in empowering others, speaking into their authentic selves. And these were called rabbi, my teacher. Rabbi means my teacher, where you own the one who speaks to you wisdom and you allow him to speak to you directly and to challenge you. Most of us don't want to be challenged. In fact, when you're challenged by by the very best, we tend to hide, or we tend to become defensive as we may. But he found a teacher, and he went to this teacher. And in fact, he addresses him and he says, Rabbi. And he recognizes something else from this teacher. When you surround yourself with the right people, you recognize the gifts they have. He recognized that whatever this man was doing was more than what other rabbis were doing. And he says, we know you come from God because you are a teacher from God, because the things that you're doing, nobody else can do them unless he is sent, or God is with him. He recognizes something more powerful, something more truthful, something authentic in the man. And I think this is why he's going at night. We may say, for example, I've heard many people preach about, going at night because he feared the crowd. And that is possible. But I think he needed to come to Jesus where he could hear the authentic voice that he was seeking. Tonight and this morning, I am inviting you, my brother, my sister, to find your rabbi, my teacher, one who can mentor you, one who can reveal the truth to you, one who will challenge the depth of your authenticity and will see the fakeness in you and will tell you, well, you may be following a crowd here, or you may be following a script that is given to you. And most of us are unable to move on because of continuously following this script. And he found his help. And we shall be seeing in line 3 and line 4 and so forth, Nicodemus being challenged by my teacher, a rabbi, who is going to speak so powerfully and challenge him to move out of the box that he can find his voice. And Nicodemus reminds me of one of my teachers at Emory University in Georgia. I remember writing a paper, and the paper that I was writing was on Rwanda genocide. It was an ethic paper, and I was trying to compare the killing that happened in the so-called Manchurian War in China and Japan, those places. And I was looking at what one of the ethicists, one of the greatest ethicists of the time, an American ethicist by the name Reinhard Niebuhr, and his brother Richard Niebuhr. And so I was using Niebuhr and his brother as a voice to speak into Rwanda genocide. And so I wrote this 29-page paper that I presented proudly to my professor. And I remember sitting in her office, and she told me, Johnson, you're a great writer, and you have a strong, authentic voice. But what I'm reading in this paper is the authentic voice is about 2%. Everything else is parroted. You're just parroting what Niebuhr said, what Richard, his brother, said, and what other people are saying. But there is an authentic voice in you. So I'm not going to grade this paper. Go back, rewrite this paper, and I want you to listen to yourself as you write this paper and write that which is authentically you. And let me tell you, I learned a great lesson. A lesson of not being a copycat. A lesson of thinking beyond that which is given to me. A lesson to see beyond the group, to see beyond the one who think, to challenge even some of the knowledge that we are given. And I continue finding my freedom, and I speak from a space of freedom, a place of authenticity. I cannot declare that I have found fully my authentic voice. But every day I step towards getting that authentic voice. Nicodemus was at the right time. He came to the right rabbi, my teacher, and he was poised for greatness, as we shall see. And if you stay with me, even later in the chapters, we shall see the space of this man called Nicodemus. What a voice. What a challenge. Who are you? What is your authentic voice? Who is authentic you? Are you a mere follower? Are you a mere parrot, parroting things that others are saying? Do you copy other people's sermons? Do you copy other people's way of living? Are you just a follower of a crowd with collective responsibility? Or can you break out of the box and find your authentic voice? Nicodemus chose, though at night, to listen to the authentic voice. And when he followed it, he found his teacher. He found wisdom. And when he found wisdom, we will see later, he gained understanding. I thank you so much for being with me this hour of the evening and this hour of the morning in Kenya. And I hope that you have learned one or two things in this lesson of finding the authentic self. I invite you to continue listening, following me, and like, comment, engage, and even follow my YouTube channel, where you can find more of the teachings and many more if you miss any. In the meantime, may the Lord bless you as you seek to find your authentic self.